Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Sierra Tellez with Briggs Freeman Sotheby's International Realty, and today we are going to talk about the new construction process. So this topic was brought up because I saw a request for it in comments on another video. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for the comments. I do look at them and I'm trying to put out as much content that is valuable for you. So if there's a topic you want me to cover, a neighborhood you want me to see, or even different types of houses or tours that you want to see, please comment those on the videos so that I can see them and make that happen for you. So let's get to it. Is new construction the right thing for you? I love helping clients with new construction because you get to really see their entire vision come to life, but there's some questions that you need to ask yourself first to decide if it's the right thing for you. So, question number one, what's your time frame? So if you're telling me you want to move to a house as soon as possible, then I don't know if new construction's for you, because it can take anywhere from 3 to 12 months, even longer depending on delays. Question number two, do you like to do things yourself? Are you kind of like a DIY projector? Because if you are, there's not going to be a lot of DIY projects in a new construction home. I know I love watching HGTV and seeing all the ways that you can transform your space by buying stuff at Home Depot and doing it yourself, but in all honesty, that's not for me. So if you're like me and you're not into a lot of DIY projects, then go ahead and keep considering that new construction process. Question number three to consider is, are you looking for something super specific or something that you haven't seen out there? A lot of times we start this home search online and you may see like there's a ton of houses that fit what you're really looking for. And if that's the case, you might want to continue on looking at pre-owned homes versus new construction. But if you've just got your idea and mind set on something that you've never seen before, then maybe a custom home is the right choice for you. So I'm going to help you go through those options, but first I also want us to take a look at pros and cons. So let's go ahead and look at some pros and cons on building new construction versus buying a new home. And if there's something on this list that you want to add, I just want to get us started on the pros and cons list, but I want you to do the rest at home and really think about it. So let's go through the pros first. All right, so let's get to those pros. You get a new home smell with new construction. So you're not having anyone's old, dusty mothballs sent throughout your house. You don't have to worry about who lived there before or what happened in there or anything like that. You're getting that new home with that new home smell. Another pro to consider is you get to customize the features. So depending on where the home is in the building process, you get to come in, potentially pick those fixtures, those finishes, and really make it your own. And if it's a fully custom home, then you are picking everything. Great pro. Three is that you have the option to kind of have higher technology. What do I mean by that? You've got your kind of like smart garage that can attach to your phone, or we did a video on a different house that you can even set the ovens with your phone. You have way more features like that in a newer built home that you wouldn't have in an older home. Another thing is all those big ticket items that we kind of worry about and stress about, and the reason that you want to have like some money set aside is when something goes wrong with your roof or your air condition breaks or the furnace breaks or whatever it is. When you get a new construction home, there are warranties on the build and then also manufacturer warranties on a lot of those big ticket item appliances. So that's something that you don't have to think about. You can spend your money on your furnishings, decorating inside, and know that those home maintenance costs are going to be a lot lower for a lot longer than when you buy a pre-existing home. And then lastly, pro, which this is big, especially in Texas, is that your house is going to be way more energy efficient. So energy, green builders, all of that stuff is going to be more likely in a new home than a pre-existing home. So you're going to have better windows, better insulation, all of that stuff when you buy a new home. So those are some pros. Like I said, keep adding to that list, but let's go to the cons now too. And this is a big one. This is one I want to make sure that you really are considering and you asked yourself this question and you were honest, because building a new home is time consuming. So not only is it going to take a long time for the build, and there are plenty of things that could come up along the way, like weather, lumber shortages. Right now we have a shortage of windows. All of these things can delay the build, but it's time consuming for you as well because you've got to be checking in on that home along the way. You're going to be going to the house, to the home site, to the build site several times, constantly, making sure that everything's on track, making sure that everything's happening the way you want it to happen. Because even the best builders have trouble with communication sometimes, and things can go wrong, so you've got to be on top of it. So if you don't have the time, not only to wait for the build, but to go step in, that could be a real negative, and it might not be the right choice for you. Another thing is, when you're building a new home, yes, you could be fully customizable, but you could also buy a track home or a spec home to where you can't actually pick out every single finish. And there might just be specific packages that your builder goes with, and you might not get everything that you actually want. So that's another con to consider. Another thing that a lot of people don't think about, and is one that I really, really want to make sure you think about, this may mean nothing to you, but your landscaping in a newer built home is going to be really, immature for a long time. It's going to take years for those trees to grow, and you have that beautiful shaded tree when you drive up to your house. That's going to take a really long time, so keep that in mind. Also, you're probably going to have some HOAs that may have restrictions. So let's say you're thinking, Sierra, I don't mind having small trees, I'll just put in my own tree. Well, you might not be able to do that with some of the HOA restrictions. So that's something definitely to keep in mind if you really like that mature tree look. Maybe it is better for you to have a pre-existing home. Another thing to consider is with these new builds, the price isn't usually negotiable. It really the price is what it is. That's based a lot off of the material prices, things like that. So if you love to haggle and you're trying to find yourself a deal, then maybe doing a pre-existing home is the right choice for you. So keep that in mind. That ticket price is probably what it is, and there's not a ton of wiggle room there. And then lastly, and I mentioned this a little bit already, is you're gonna have to abide by that builder's deed restrictions and the HOA. Is there gonna be an HOA, and how strict are they gonna be? So those are some of the cons I want you to consider, and I want you to continue on with the list. And even more so, if you've built a new home already and you're like, okay, she forgot to mention XYZ, or she didn't say this, and it was a big pain point for you, or it was a big pro for you, please put it in the comments below. Let's share with each other. Let's make this a community pros and cons list so that everyone can share experiences and help people make the right decision, because that's really what we're here to do. So that's gonna be it for this week. Please go ahead, like I said, comment, like. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. And if there's other content that you want to see, put it in your comments. But let's make this a community forum of pros and cons, and then join us next week because we're going to talk about selecting your builder. So thank you so much for watching.